What's good, everybody? This your boy Big Waves in the building. We are back. Midday Madness in the mix, man. Shout out to everybody. Y'all already know what time it is. Hey, look, crazy draft weekend for the Carolina Panthers. Crazy draft weekend. And today, we here to talk about it, man. What's your grades? I want to know what everybody grades and what their thoughts or how they feeling about this draft. Who was the best selection? Who was the worst selection? What was a reach? What was right on the money? We go get into it today, man. But y'all already know what time it is, man. Time to get turned up. Midday Madness in the mix. Fresh off of draft weekend. The new Carolina Panther era is officially here. Shout out to Jeff RFA. Now I'm in the building, man. Shout out to y'all boys, man. Hope everybody good today. Hope everybody healthy today, man. Living well, feeling well. Y'all already know draft grades. Like draft grades. Look, we put the finishing touches on the new Carolina Panthers regime this past weekend. The finishing touches is on it, right? We have our quarterback of the future. We may have drafted our number one wide receiver of the future. We got potentially a defensive end, man, that has a lot of upside. Going to need some work, a little bit of development, but he has a ton of upside. I called out Kendall on Batcat for jumping on AR-15 wagon. They blocked me. Hey, you know how it go, man. But a lot of players, man, that have the potential to be day one starters and turn out to be, some franchise peaches and future peaches for a long time for the Carolina Panthers. So let's talk about it, man. Let's get into it, man. I'm not going to jump into my grades yet, but I'm going to talk a little bit about the picks, man. First, let's talk about, obviously, number one. We traded away all of these picks to get to number one to get our future guy. I think everybody kind of knew who it was going to be. We've known for the last couple of weeks who the choice would be for the Carolina Panthers at number one, and it came to fruition, right? So Bryce Young. Let me tell you something about this Bryce Young pick, man. This Bryce Young pick is probably going to be the best Carolina Panther draft pick ever. I really feel like Bryce Young has that potential, man. Like, if you see this guy, we're not talking about just a true leader from when he walks in the building, the way that he's handled press conferences, a rookie, 20-year-old kid, the way he's handled press conferences, the way he's responded, man, to questions about leadership, his size, everything. I've watched literally every single Bryce Young interview or anything that had Bryce Young on it over the weekend since he got picked. And this guy is just a true professional. He's a true professional, and you can tell that he's a hard worker. Like he already said, man, and I got to get the quotes. You guys know I'm going to get my quotes out here. But the words of this man, when he said that he know that everything is going to have to be earned. He's coming into a locker room with grown men that he's never coached, that he's never played with before. These grown men some of them are super older than him. Some of them are older than him by 6-7 years. So now he's having to command the locker room of older guys who are getting paid for what they do. So to already go in there with a humble mindset saying this is going to be something that I'm have to earn. I want to earn it in my way I work, the way that I carry myself off the field. Everything has to be earned. That's exactly what you want your leader to say. You want your leader to say that. You want your leader to be humble, but also have the confidence to know that I am going to come in here and earn it. I went back last night, man, and watched footage of the Bryce Young game against Georgia. And, man, when you're talking about a guy who can just do everything, Bryce Young literally can do everything. There's not a flaw in his game. And I'm not saying this guy's going to come in here and be the savior of the Carolina Panthers and just be like, it's going to be a complete team effort, right? But he has the upside to become the best quarterback the Carolina Panthers has ever had and one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL young. The plays that he made it against a very stout Georgia defense. Oh, by the way, these Georgia talents got taken all in the first round over the last 2 years. And he's played those guys 2 times. You're talking about a guy who was just picking apart their defense, scrambling when he needs to scramble, doesn't look to run first, keeps his eyes down the field, releases the ball quick, very accurate with his passes. Wide receivers are not having to come back to the ball. Bryce Young does everything that you want your starting quarterback to be able to do. So getting him number one overall was the defining moment in Carolina Panthers history. I believe it's going to be. We're going to look back on this draft pick literally 5-6 years from now and say this is going to be the guy. Cam Newton has been the quarterback for the Carolina Panthers and been the face of the Panthers for years. Bryce Young is probably going to surpass that and become the best Carolina Panther to ever play. I have that much potential in this guy. He's going to be special. All right, so that's my thoughts on the number 1 overall pick. So in the second round, you do exactly what I've been saying the Carolina Panthers were going to do for some time and take a wide receiver. Why? You need to be able to get a young weapon that you can mold with your young quarterback, right? Granted, people may say we made moves to get Adam Thielen. We made moves to bring in DJ Shark. Terrace Marshall Jr. is still on the board. We have Laviska Shenault. Some even brought up Preston Williams, Shi Smith. And you said to yourself, well, maybe that's a complete room. Well, let's be completely honest, guys. None of these wide receivers are number 1 wide receivers. Adam Thielen is obviously past his prime, 32 years old, but still a great route runner. He's still going to be very much a red zone threat, position, easy check down type guys, be able to find the holes in the defenses, and he can still run routes well. But the truth is he's 32 years old, right? DJ Shark, let's be honest with DJ Shark. DJ Shark is a injury-prone wide receiver. He's been hurt literally every year that he's been in the NFL. He's actually coming off of a injury as well. So there's no guarantee that he's going to give you a full 16-game season this year. I would say probably lean more so to not than he probably would. So, again, has a ton of upside, made some very big catches with the Detroit Lions last year, had a hell of a catch against us. If you guys don't remember this past Lions game, DJ Shark caught like a 30, 45-yard pass, and he went up and go get it. So his potential is through the roof. Terrace Marshall Jr., again, a guy who last year he was able to stay healthy a little bit more than he has in years past, has tremendous upside. He made a lot of big catches with Sam Darnold and these guys last year, but overall, he has the upside. If he can stay healthy, he can potential. He has that much potential, but the biggest question mark is, will he stay healthy? Last year was probably the first step in that direction, but we got to see how he does this year, okay? So then when you're looking at everybody else on the board in that wide receiver room, everybody else is expendable. Shi Smith is probably going to not make the football team this year. He didn't really show me a lot. He showed flashes at times in the preseason and early in the seasons, but nothing that shows that he can be a consistent number 3 or number 4 wide receiver on this team. Laviska Shenault is just a screen type guy, a gadget player. He's not a guy that's going to run around. He's not going to have 700 yards receiving for one season. That's just not what Shenault is going to give you, right? So Shenault is in a situation where he may be on the fence as well. I think he does stay to the team because I feel like this coaching staff is going to be able to utilize him in a lot of different ways, but he's still a guy that you can't say is a true number 1 wide receiver. Then you have Preston Williams. Buried on the depth chart, did not get a ton of playing time last year. I think he was hurt, but we'll see where he goes. So what did the Carolina Panthers needed to do? They needed to go get a weapon at 39. And yes, there were names like Jalen Hyatt, Josh Downs, other big name wide receivers out there, but Carolina went with a guy that they were sold on. This guy has the potential to be the next DK Metcalf or even better. So one, Jonathan Mingo, wide receiver out of Ole Miss, 220 pounds, 6'4", ran a 4.4. This guy is a dog. I will tell anybody, guys, go and watch the tape on Jonathan Mingo. This guy is a animal. He is a complete animal. He makes tough catches real deep. He's a matchup problem. After he gets the ball in his hands, he turns into a running back. You're not going to be able to bring him down with one defender. He has the upside of a DK Metcalf, Julio Jones type potential. He's going to do crazy things with Bryce Young. And if you ask me, out of anybody that I see that's going to potentially become our number 1 wide receiver, it's probably going to be him. This was a great pickup, man. Shout out to Big Bro, because Big Bro really called that pick at the beginning of the day. The same day that we had the draft, he said that Jonathan Mingo was the wide receiver that he liked for the Carolina Panthers. Something about Ole Miss, man. Those guys just put out big wide receivers for DK Metcalf, AJ Brown, the list goes on. They just put out big wide receiver, and this guy is huge. He is going to be a nightmare matchup for a lot of people. Y'all already know what time it is. Brandon Cut, yo, what's up, fellas? What's the next date? OTAs, May 23rd and 25th. Absolutely. Rookie minicamp will be starting up here as well in the next week or two, so we'll get to see Bryce Young on the field. I'm interested to see what number he wears. He still hasn't come out with a number, or there's nothing being released about what number he will wear for the Panthers. I think that he's working on getting a number out with Matt Corral, and they're trying to come to the terms on him getting the 9. The 9 just makes too much sense for him. So I'm hoping that he get there. If he doesn't get the 9, I hope he at least get the 5 and become, the next Carolina Panther big player with a dope number. So Jonathan Mingo, great guy, great potential. The upside is through the roof. Really no flaws in his game. He got injured. He did come off of a broken foot 2 seasons ago. So that'll be something to keep an eye on. But outside of that, the potential with this guy and this offense is going to be crazy. It is going to be honestly, scary good. All right. So taking a look into round 3, the Carolina Panthers actually had the 98th pick, but they decided to trade up all the way to 83 or 82 that I believe might have been 80. Yeah, they were 80. So they traded up 13 spots to draft DJ Johnson, defensive linebacking edge for Oregon. Now, this is a pick that I could see. I'm going to talk about the positives first. So this guy is a freakish athlete, okay? This guy is 260 pounds. I believe he stands at 6'4" as well and runs a 4.4. So another guy that has a ton of upside with his freakish athletes. He's going to be a problem for a lot of people on the edge if he can figure out, man, and work on developing some hand placement and getting better technique. This is a guy that I could also see that has a ton of upside as well, especially in the 3-4 defense. With his speed, with his playmaking ability out there on the edge, if he can learn from Brian Burns and this coaching staff, Ejiro can really work with this guy. He has Julius Peppers type potential, right? If he can get it figured out. The thing about it is where the Panthers took him, I don't like, right? Way better talent on the board than this guy where they traded up for. Now, if they would have stayed at 98, I think that this is a guy that you probably could have even got in the 4th round. I'm just not a fan of where the Panthers traded up to get this guy, okay? Now, upside through the roof, but again, I'm just not sold on where we took him at. I think that Kelly Ringo was a sleeper pick that was still on the board at that time. We obviously know the struggles that we have with depth and behind J.C. Horn and Dante Jackson at the cornerback position. There was also Simpson from Clemson still on the board at that particular point in time. Some analysts even had this guy, according to Bleacher, had this guy going as potentially undrafted. So he must really sold the Carolina Panthers. I know reports came out that they were really impressed with this guy when he visits Carolina. But I think that where we took him at was a complete reach. I think that this was somebody that could have been available for us when we picked later in the draft. Again, some analysts had him going 4th to 5th round, and some even had him as undrafted. So I don't like the Panthers' decision to trade up from 98 to get this guy. I think Kelly Ringo, man, the fact that he slid all the way around to the 4th round is going to be a complete fumble by a lot of teams. Kelly Ringo was probably, and also there were other good corners that were on the board as well that the Carolinas could have took, and also good linebacker help if you were going to go defense right there with that pick. So I'm just not. I give that grade that pick for me was a reach. It was 100% a reach. I don't like what the Panthers did there. I think that they could have waited on him. I think that he would have been available a lot later. So I will say that about that pick. And again, after that, I don't think we picked until we picked again in the 4th round. And I think we took safety Jamie Robinson. Omar was good with it, fam. Shout out to everybody. About to drop the links here soon. Let me go ahead and get these links out to everybody, man, because y'all already know we about to get it in the fucking mix. Let me get these links out. I ain't even sent it out, man. I've been so excited. It's hard to know. Mocks and analysts don't have a way of GMs do. Maybe they knew he was about to go. And look, Jesse, you could be completely correct with this. I think that, like I said, man, the upside and the potential and the physical attributes, all of that checks all of the boxes. And when you go and watch the tape, he definitely can make plays, right? So he has the potential to make plays. You're talking about a strong guy, a guy that once you get in his grasp, you're not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere once he gets in your grasp. This is going to be somebody that's going to be a physical presence for the Panthers. Like I said, the guy is huge. Paul's 260 pounds, running a sub 4.5 at the combine for his 40, and had 6 sacks last year. My only thing about it is he has no technique whatsoever. He's going to have to learn how to be able to beat defenders and offensive tackles in the NFL by good hand placement and some technique. So I think that this defense and this defensive coaching staff, I think they have all of the tools to be able to teach him and make him into a starting DN opposite of Brian Burns. So the potential is scary. I just also think that we could have taken better players right there with that pick. I wouldn't have traded up to get this guy. You could have stayed at 98 and drafted this player. That's my only concern that I have about DJ Johnson. I think that he's going to be yeah, he does have an 80 reach as well. Like I said, the physical attributes are all there. I have no questions about that. But when you go and watch the tape on this guy, when you go and look at the film, it's clear that he is a very much raw project at the edge position in pass rush. He's going to need some coaching up a bit. He's going to need a little bit of time to develop. But I think that with this staff, he will catch on quick, and then I can see him turning into a monster. I can definitely see it. So I don't want anybody, if he turns out to be the next animal in the league, I don't want anybody coming to me and saying Wavez said that he wasn't going to be this. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that he has the upside to be great. I'm just upset with where the Panthers took him, right? That's the only problem that I have. I feel like the number one player on the board at that time was there available, and I feel like the Panthers should have went best available. Because, again, you have to remember there were plenty of options to go DN linebacker in free agency. You could have brought in a veteran. Yannick Ngakoue still hasn't been signed. Davion Clowney, you could have brought him back home, man, for pennies. I just think the Panthers should have they reached a little bit on that, and that's the issue that I have. That was the only thing I don't like with that pick. But guys, give me 2 seconds, man. Hey, listen, appreciate everybody for pulling up, man. We are giving out draft grades for the Carolina Panthers today. We're going to have the panel pull up as always, man. Shout out to that boy, Big Bruh. Shout out to CLT in the building, man. Shout out to Jesse, Last Second Sports, Fednam, everybody, Supernova, man. We in the building, Midday Madness in the mix. So give me 1 second. Getting these links synced out to my people, man, so everybody can pull up, man. But what do y'all think? Guys, in the comments right now, give me a wave emoji and your overall grade for the Panthers. Give me a wave emoji and your overall grade for the Panthers this draft before I get out like my all of my ratings. I just got into my open soliloquy. But I want you guys to give an overall rating of what you guys feel like the Panthers did here in this draft. And I'll give out my grades here in a second. Once I get the boys up, get their perspectives in, and I'll give out my grade after that. But so that pick was, to me, it was a reach. That's what I'm going to grade that pick. That pick was a reach. But the next pick and what we did in the 4th round, I really like this guy, man. Robinson, safety from Florida State. I really like this pick, man. This is a guy who, when I turned on the film and watched him, this is somebody that plays with reckless abandonment. That's what he plays with. He is a hard-hitting safety. He is a dog. He is going to come and light you up. He can cover. He got elite speed, has the ability to play the nickel as well. He can be a real piece on this defense. He can be a real, especially in that 3-4 scheme that Ejiro runs a hybrid 3-4 scheme, right? A hybrid 3-4 scheme. So it's going to be kind of like some field snow type of approaches, but with more solidified play from the linebackers up front. But you're going to see the safeties switch and play at linebacker, switch out. You're going to see that nickel drop back in coverage and be able to it's going to be so much different ways that we can go with this defense. And I feel like the Panthers are drafting players on the defensive side of the ball to fit that scheme. Robinson definitely fits that scheme. He 100% fits that scheme. I like this pick, especially where you got him at that late in the draft. Some people had a early third round pick with him, and even some had a second round pick with this guy. So for him to come, us to get him where we needed to get him at, he's a dog. He is a dog, bro. And I know people might say that he's a little undersized, like he's short. His comparison in the NFL is Tyrann Mathieu. They gave him a Tyrann Mathieu type of comparison. If you guys remember Tyrann Mathieu at LSU, you know, of course I do. He was a small safety, but he would ring your bell. And if you threw it his way, it probably was going to get picked off.
I don't know, dude. We can't hear you, fam.
Can you hear me
We
now?
can hear you. Yeah, we can hear you now.
Back. All right, I'm back. I'm back. My bad, y'all. My finger hit the mute button on the microphone. We got CLT in the building. CLT, what's good with it, man? What are your thoughts on this whole Carolina Panthers draft and obviously the things I've had to say about it?
Oh man, I'm excited to be back, man. I feel like I missed so much fucking news, man. But I'm overall happy with the draft. I do have some suggestions of like some things I really didn't like inside the draft. For one, like you said, I feel like that defensive end that we took possibly was a reach. Like you said, tons of upside. So you know you got to see how that play out. Now, the only thing I would say, well, you gotta love Bryce with the number one overall pick. The only thing I would kind of defer with you is the Jamie Robinson pick. I would think I don't understand the pick because I thought we're loaded at safety. We signed the
He go play
safety.
corner. He go end up playing like the nickel, man. He go play more at the nickel than anything.
Well, I feel like with that being said, some it got to be some cuts at training camp, bro. Like either Xavier Woods has to be cut. Somebody has to because we're stacked at safety. We have Woods. We have Chin. We now have him. We have what's the kid that we picked up in the free agency? Um, the dude from
Von
Cincinnati.
Bell. Von Bell.
Yeah, yeah. We have a lot of safeties, man. So I feel like we should have went true corner if we want somebody to play nickel. I just don't. I don't see like you know what I'm saying. It's gonna be a heavy rotation back there. If that was the case, we should have drafted a true safety, a true cover safety. If we're talking about drafting a safety, but not just to mix it in when we already got Chin that can be used in multiple positions. So I really wouldn't say I agree with that pick. But other than that, I'm happy as fuck with the Mingo pick. When I look back and I see heavily. I'm comparing him to AJ Brown, bro. If we can develop this guy the correct way, the stature that he has, the ball security that he has, the yak yard shot to catch that he can produce, run after
Crazy.
run after the contact. I feel like he can be great, man. I feel like we can replace DJ right there in that trade if we develop him correctly, bro. Get
That's
that
facts.
chemistry, get that chemistry down with Bryce Young from day one. Another thing is our wide receiver room is now we be considered full. Um, somebody gonna have to be the odd man out. It looks like to me, I would say Chenault will probably be the odd man out because I don't see too much of him other than screens. Um,
I
but
think I
but I
think Chanel I think Chanel will stay. I
who
really do. I think Chanel will stay. If you asking me who's probably on the burn, it's probably going to be Shot Smith. The Panthers will probably keep 6 to 7 wide receivers.
I don't know. That's a deep room. And I feel like none of those, like all those names, I feel like none of those names match you with fit for like rotate like personality wise will fit for rotational pieces. like looking at all those players across the board, all those players want to be on the field.
Yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt. But what I'm saying is, I think it's just going to be dependent on like, whatever set that we're in. Like, I think that's what's going to determine kind of where these guys fit in. But what you said about Mingo, I mean, that's exactly why the Panthers drafted him, bro. This dude is a AJ Brown-esque deep. Honestly, he might be bigger than AJ Brown. I think he bigger than AJ Brown, bro. Mingo is like 220 for a wide receiver.
You know why I like it so much, bro? He was a surprise pick, bro. I didn't hear when we was talking about receivers, in pre-draft, post-draft, like before the draft happened, we were hearing, like you said, the Cedric Tillmans, the guy from the other receiver from Tennessee. I didn't hear Mingo inside the conversation. So once we did draft him, I go look at some film, look at some tape. Man, he's an awesome player, bro. So
he a dog.
To be underrated like that and to fly on the radar and we get him, I feel like that was a great steal, man. We needed it. We need like me and you were saying, we need a receiver at 39, bro. And
Facts.
I feel like we felt that boy. Only thing that we didn't come out with is a corner. Like you said, it is some depth still there at in free agency. You got the kid from the twin from Jacksonville that we can possibly scoop up if nobody scooped them up just yet. At DN, we can still go bring Clowney in. We can bring Nguakwe in. So it's some pieces out there that we can add. But overall, I'm happy with the draft. We got our receiver. We got our quarterback. We got pieces on offense. Offense was our struggle passing last year. So we improved on the area that we needed to improve on.
Yeah, I agree, man. And I'm going to tell you guys a pick that I also like late, man. And we're going to talk a little bit about that too. We took
I know. Let's go.
We took hold on. I skipped over the pick. Oh yeah, guard Chandler Zavala from NC State, man, in the 4th round. That was a big time pick, man. And I'm gonna tell you guys why it's a big time pick. Austin Corbett, the report came out, man. Obviously, Frank Wright said it 2 days ago that Austin Corbett is not going to be starting ready for the start of the season. He's probably going to miss a couple of games to start the season. So that's going to be a big blow to the interior of our offensive line. Carolina had to bring somebody in for competition, man. Somebody that can, come in there and add quality depth, try to solidify that middle until Corbett is able to return. And with Zavala playing with Ike Ekwonu at North Carolina State last year, they already have some chemistry, right? So the filling that left guard position, that's going to be huge. Especially like I said, with Corbett being hurt. And I'm not going to lie, that Corbett injury, man, is bothering me a little bit. But a shout out to the Panthers for understanding that he's probably going to miss some time, and it's probably going to take some time for him to come back and get right as well. So that to me, if you ask me, was a steal of the draft. It's probably that, because that was something that we needed to do, to bring in depth on the defensive line, somebody that that might have to be able to fill in for Corbett because Corbett could potentially, if you ask me, he's probably going to miss the first 4 games. You know what I'm saying? Somewhere like that, 4 to 5 games. So that was a good kick, and the fact that he already has chemistry with Ekwonu, that should allow for an easier transition for him on this line and on his side and responsibility. So that was a big pick to me, man. But if you ask me about the DJ Johnson thing, man, and I kind of have to go because I feel like that was our worst pick of the fucking draft. Like that was our worst pick of the fucking draft. Like, to me, the DJ Johnson, I get the scheme fit. I get the scheme fit. The fit makes all the sense in the world. It makes all of the sense. I get his style. I get his size, his speed, all of that. But right. Yeah, that's right. Corbett played right guard, but they mix and match their guards too, man. Yeah, he played right guard. You're right. Left guard. Appreciate you. Yeah, that's right. He played left guard. That's right. But I don't like this DJ Johnson fit. I mean this pick. I really don't, because it was a reach. You didn't have to trade up to get him. He really would have failed to you where you was at. So I don't like that, man. I really don't like that. I feel like we reached for him, man. That's like, bro, some people even had him as undrafted, CLT. Like it was some like I was watching like the live draft grading, like while the draft was going on that day that we took him. Like some people had him on his board as like undrafted. So the Panthers either see something, in him that could potentially be like franchise altering, which I'm hoping that's the case. Like Ejiro seemed to be sold on him, man. A lot of guys in the organization seem to be sold on him. I did watch his press conference. He is somebody, man, but I feel like he gonna need some work, man. He raw. And for the Panthers, you already had his style of player already on the roster. You already had an Amari Barno who was fast as hell. He ran the fastest 40 last year at the combine for a defensive end or a linebacker. You already had a Brandon Smith. Like you already had his style of player on the line. So to me, that is why I feel like it's a reach because you already kind of had it. Yeah, them dudes might not be 260, but it seemed like it's like to me, I could see him at best being like a like man, he probably gonna end up being like he's Shaq Barrett at best, and Shaq Barrett is a dog. But that's him outplaying his potential. If he outplays his draft stock, he is Shaq Barrett, so he can be a fool, right? But at best, man, I feel like he's gonna be like a Alden Smith type, defensive like edge, man, like an Alden Smith. Like he might make a play here and there, but he probably gonna be more of a rotational piece. Like for real, like he gonna be more of a rotational piece, man. I don't know, man, because the tape he needs a lot of work. Like he need a lot of work. He might not contribute this year. I mean, he could. I could see it being both. So I can see it being he either he boom or bust. That's all I'm saying, TFT. He boom or bust. That's the words to use. He boom or bust.
What I was gonna say is, man, with the pick, like you said, it's a third round pick, right? We traded up to get it, right? And the third and fourth round picks are developmental guys, right? They have potential, but they have to be developed. And like you said, we have Barnos, we have Smith, all this young talent that has yet to be developed. So with trading up for that player, man, it means that you guys must be willing to put the work in with him, and see the upside. But I want to see them develop some of our young talent, bro. I feel like that's what we have lacked in Carolina, the development of late round picks. The only late round pick that I can really remember that stood out for us is not even late round pick, but your boy Josh Norman was undrafted. We don't really do well in Panther history with late round and undrafted players developing them into stars, bro. So I just want to see them develop. I just want to see them develop that talent, man.
Yeah, and listen, they could, right? I again, I'm probably going to be 100% wrong about this 2 or 3 years down the road, right? Like I really am. But I'm just saying for what was left on the board for where we were at, the talent that was still on the board at that point in time, like I feel like even if he's going to be a development project, I feel like it's a reach because of where he was projected to go. Secondly, I feel like it was a reach because you kind of already have the same players on the team. And then thirdly, you could have brought in a more, seasoned veteran to probably do the same things that he's going to give you, if not more, over the next 2 to 3 years. Right. Like, so that's what I'm saying. Like, you get what I mean? But corner. Kelly Ringo was sitting right there. Khalil Ringo was sitting right there on the board. If you ask me today, what is still our weakest room on our roster, it is that cornerback room, bro. That cornerback room is weak, bro. You saw today they didn't pick up C.J. Henderson's 5th-year option, so he's going to be gone. If he don't have a breakout year this year, C.J. Henderson is gone. He gone after the season anyway. So if he don't have a breakout year this year, he's going to be gone. But outside of that, when you're starting 2 corners, J.C. Horn and Dante Jackson, neither one of them has shown that they can stay healthy for a full season. You can say what you want about JC's Horns and his freakish accidents, and they were accidents, whatever you want to call them, injuries. But you could say what you want about that. He still has not given us a full season in these past 2 years. Now, when he's healthy, we know that he's arguably one of the best corners in the NFL, hands down, without a question. But can he play a full 18 games? Because if he misses 3 or more games this year, I'm only giving him 3 or more games this year. If he misses 3 or more games this year, I'm ready to label him the injury-prone label. I'm ready to do that, bro. I'm ready to do that. And Dante Jackson, he already injury-prone. And even when he's healthy, he barely giving you corner 2 production. So I know we got an all-star cast. Shout out to Jeff R. I know that we got an all-star coaching staff that can develop these guys. But need at that time, to me, that pick, not saying that edge wasn't a need, but that pick with what was on the board with another area of need, I would have probably elected to go, the more proven player or a higher rated prospect in a room that needs depth. The corner room needs depth. Like, it needs depth. There's no solidified answer behind Dante Jackson and JC Horn. And those guys are not even guaranteed or promised to give you a full season. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I get the scheme fit. I get the fit. I get all that part. All of that makes sense. But the depth of the cornerback room is still troublesome to me. And I feel like the Panthers still need to address it. At this point, you're going to have to, bring in Marcus Peters or somebody.
Like I was saying, those third and fourth round picks, man, they're developmental. So even when you think about the corner room, man, if we would have went corner, man, they're not for sure day one starters. They're not starter caliber. Were drafted starting caliber unless they show out in OTAs, man. So I wouldn't say it's too bad because, like I said, those 34th round picks are developmental. I would feel like you would take the guy that you feel like has more upside to be developed. We did need depth in both categories.
So Jeff R, I'm gonna tell you, bro. A team that wasn't gonna let them fall anymore? The Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles got the whole Georgia defense. I mean, so yeah, granted he slid, but whatever his reason said, the Eagles didn't see a problem with it. They took him. So in my eyes, bro, he was right there on the board. Kelly Ringo was a dog. I don't know if it's off-field shit that the reason why he slid, but whoever, just like with Jalen Carter in the first round, teams that let these guys slide past them, they're going to end up biting themselves in the ass about this shit later on, bro. Because Ringo was a dog. You can go and watch the tape on him. The only team that he struggled with in the game that I could give him was that Bama and Georgia game. But outside of that, he a dog, bro. Physical corner.
Honestly, I think if we was gonna trade up, man, we should have traded up and got Darnell Washington, man. He was still on the board in the third round.
I mean, yeah, tight end.
I got to get in on this cornerback conversation, man.
Go ahead.
You know what I'm saying? Because just, I'll tell you, man, I think there was the best pickup at cornerback that no one's talking about. That's a dog. And that was, man, Rajon Wright out of Oregon State. He was undrafted, but we signed him after the draft, man. For those to bring, back a little bit of history on him, he was on Last Chance U. Went to a college out of California, then transferred, got a scholarship to Oklahoma State, I believe. I think Oregon State or Oklahoma State, can't remember. But this dude, man, y'all talking about Ringo or whatever his name is from Georgia. But this dude, man, to me, because I've been following him, man, since I seen him on last. This dude a dog, man. And he to me, he better than him. You go back and look at the stats on him. Again, he didn't get a lot of, attention because of the school he went to. But man, go back, Rajon Wright, go back. We signed him as an undrafted free agent. This dude gonna be really, really good for us. 6'2", he long, he's a dog, man. He's a monster. You know, and Jeff R, I appreciate you, man. He's a straight dog. This dude, so that dude from Georgia, bro, we ain't worried about that. We got a dog at cornerback. Watch what I tell you. Get this dude about 2 or 3 years. And I'm telling you, man, he gonna show you. Go back up. Remember that name, Rajon Wright. He gonna make this team as an undrafted free agent. Watch what I tell you.
I hope so, man. I hope so. Go ahead, CLT.
I didn't see anything on him, but I'm definitely gonna look back into it.
Yeah. Go check
I
him out, CLT.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely go watch some tape on him.
Like I said, he was on Last Chance U on Netflix like 3 years ago. He was a top rated recruit coming out of high school, but he got into some trouble and ended up having to go to JUCO. On Last Chance U, he earned the scholarship. I think it's either Oklahoma State or Oregon State. It's one of them two. I know it's old school, but he ended up getting a scholarship there. And for the last 2 years, man, he's been a monster out there. But again, he don't get a lot of attention because, their games are not on TV. So nobody don't get to see him like that. But I've been following this kid, man, since then. And this dude is – so when I seen that we drafted him as a undrafted free agent, man, undrafted free agent, I was like, oh, yeah, that's a steal right there, bro. That's a steal. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
But I think our cornerback room overall, with even the other guy from who we picked up, who was it? Was it Sam Johnson?
No, Jamie Robinson.
Jamie Robinson. Okay, yeah, Jamie Robinson. I think
he gonna play the nickel.
I mean, that's fine. I mean, he can play the nickel, but I like that pickup. You know what I'm saying? I like, man, our cornerback room. Can we go explore some free agents like Peterson? Might cost us too much, on a 1-year deal. And I don't think we're not quite ready for him, because now if we was, going to the Super Bowl this year, then we might bring him in. But I just think,
and we traded for Gilmore, dog, and we wasn't even nowhere near contention.
But you gotta look at it. That's why I keep telling people, don't think about the Matt Rule era. It's not like that anymore.
No, I got you. I get what you're saying, but
for them and CJ Henderson. But as you can see, even what came out today, we didn't pick up CJ Henderson 5th-year option.
Yeah, he gone. But I've been said that.
But what I'm saying is this: now that Fitterer's there, man, things are different. We're not gonna make the stupid moves like picking up.
Wasn't Fitterer the one that traded for Gilmore?
Because it was Matt Rule who wanted them. Man, Rule had all this. He had control over player personnel. So meaning when it came to player personnel, he would go to Fitterer and say, "Hey, I want this guy," and guess what Fitterer did? He gonna get that guy. So it's a different regime, man. That. So we got to stop thinking like before. This new regime with Fitterer and Frank Reich, hey, we only gonna make the best moves for this team. So meaning we're not gonna overpay or overspend for a guy like Peters. If we get him on a good deal, then yes, bring him in. Absolutely bring him in. But we can't go pay him, 12, 13 million a year. Not this year.
We definitely not paying him that.
I'm just, again, I don't know what he's asking for, but that's all I'm saying.
So you're right. Like I hear what you're saying, man. But again, you wouldn't have to worry. Like to me, okay, yeah, you brought in an undrafted free agent. We'll even see if he makes a team. I can't even be like keep it real. We can talk about undrafted free agents, man, but like until they make the final roster, I can't speak on them because there's probably more of a chance that they not go be on the roster than they will be on the roster. So, this guy probably is good. Hopefully, he good enough where he can make the final 53.
I bet the house on him, man. He gonna make the roster.
Yeah. So
again, it might be a scout team, but this dude, he gonna make the roster, man.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's fine, man. But what I'm saying here is this, man. Like again, I corner is a position. I don't care what you say, man. The room is questionable at best, man. Because your starters even have question marks. Like they have question marks. So if your starters got question marks, as much as we're not hoping that nobody gets injured, and we don't never want anybody to get injured. But the reality of it is that these guys haven't shown that they can stay healthy. Like that's the reality of it. Like we can come out our mouths and say that this is going to be the year that they do it. But to me, until I can fully see that both of them can play a full 18 game season without being out any games, I can only go off of what I'm saying. So if there's even a chance,
not high chance that nobody on the roster goes 18 games. Right?
but I mean, well, okay, but I get what you're saying there too. But still, like at the end of the day, you gotta play. You gotta play. Like your biggest ability is availability.
Absolutely, I agree with
That's
you.
Your biggest ability.
And then back, piggyback off our CLT comment. CLT, yes, it is players that play 18 games. All the games that they start again. Whether
Saquon Barkley did.
Yeah, I mean it's a.
I said not highly guaranteed. I said
highly guaranteed. Highly. Okay, I missed that.
I would say 15 to 16 games a year played by players. I would say that's a good year, man. As far as health wise.
Well, I mean, it actually happens more than what you're thinking.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it's
people out there actually playing 18 games, bro.
Yeah, like, it's more common than what you think.
But I'm saying if you miss 3 games out the season, I wouldn't say you're injury prone, bro. You have.
Why not? Why I can't say that? Because that means that what if those 3 games that I need you are the most critical games of the season?
I mean that comes into situation, but I'm saying like if you miss, 3 games, man, maybe not playoff games, not playoff contention games.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you an example. I'm gonna refute that. Give you an example. This past year, when we were playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for the division, J.C. Horn not being out there clearly showed. But it clearly showed.
If you were wanting to tape, you didn't give a fuck if we won that game or not, did you?
I mean, of course I didn't care. But the point that I'm trying to make is that if you win that game, you're in the playoffs. And what did we struggle with in that game? Cornerback play. They was getting burnt on every route by the same wide receiver. They couldn't guard him.
I get what you're saying, but we didn't deserve to be in the playoffs, man. I don't even care.
I feel you. I you know that I agree with you with that, CLT. So I'm not saying that overall, the whole situation. Of course, we shouldn't even been in that situation, but at the same time, we were in the situation and we needed to win. And we couldn't win because we had injuries to our starting corner.
So here's what again, I get what both of y'all are saying, and CLT, just to put it like in this perspective, it's not a good year for Bryce if he don't play, like, for example, let's say not being his first year, but let's say it's his second year, right? We drafted him, or any other player, like especially that's going a projected starter. We can't count on the player if they miss 3 games, especially at quarterback or at cornerback, like we're talking about. That's important, man. Missing 3 games that's a problem.
That can make or break the season.
But what I'm saying is some of our best players have missed 2 or 3 games a season. Brian Burns missed 2 or 3 games. Hassan Red, when he was here, he missed 2 or 3 games. DJ Moore was missing 2 or 3 games.
But DJ Moore wasn't missing no 2 or 3 games.
He missed 2 games last year.
Yeah, that was the first time ever in his whole career.
Yeah. But I'm saying players will miss games, though. I'm not saying every year.
No. It is. Yeah, we know. Right, we know that it's players miss games. What we're saying is this: you are expected. You getting paid. If you are healthy, right? You got to play. Meaning, we need you to play. We don't need you to miss 2 or 3 games, right? We don't need Jackson, J.C. Horn. We can't afford to have them to miss 2 or 3 games, especially when we're making a playoff push. Is what we are saying. But I get what you say. Yes, injuries happen, but that's if you get injured every year and you missing 2 or 3 games, and like I think we talked about on the previous podcast, we added up the amount of times that Jackson and Horn had
they missed
over their career out of games, potential games played, and it was a lot, man. So meaning when you start looking at, I think it was for Jackson, it was Horn. Horn over the last 2 years, he's missed basically a full season.
Yep.
A full season is what he done missed. I think he came like the 16 or 17 games. So he's missed a full season, and that's terrible, man. That's a problem. Like, especially
when you only been in the league for 2 years.
Right. And we drafted you at number 8. So meaning
top 10.
Yeah, we're expecting you to be on the field. We can't have you miss a full. We can't. I'm saying, man, Go back and look at that team that went to the Super Bowl. Look at that roster. See how many games did those guys miss, the starters.
They really didn't miss
Nobody
no
really
games.
missed no games like that dude injured. We didn't have
Thomas
injuries.
Davis broke his arm in the playoffs and still had surgery and came to play in the Super Bowl.
My point exactly. So meaning it takes you look at the Eagles, look at the Chiefs. This year they had a couple injuries, but man, those guys for the most part, that's how you win because you want to be healthy down the road. You know, when you get to the playoff time and make that run. So meaning a guy that has an injury problem, like so far with Jackson and Horn has, yes, that's a question mark, man. I mean, I'm hoping that they can go out this year and play a full slate of games because we need them.
I agree.
We don't have nobody else, you know, that has proven starter ability, you know, that can start. I mean, I'm scared to send CJ Henderson out there. You know, we seen what happened when he started. So we need them guys who we invested a lot of money into, you know, even though Horn on the rookie deal, but I mean, he was number 8 pick. So, you know, that's a big investment. And Jackson.
Sauce Gardner played a full season.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's people that do it, but we need those guys to play if they're healthy, man, and no injury for a full season, especially when we're making a run. We need them because we don't have no backup right now. I mean, we got some good young guys who we brought in, but those guys take time to develop.
Corner,
right?
corner is the hardest position to adapt to in the NFL from college to the NFL.
Yeah, so you can't, you know, it's hard to come in unless you like a guy like Sauce Gardner can come in right away to, you know, to play that and be successful at. But those guys there who we have in that room, even who we drafted, even the guy who I was talking about, Ray John Wright, it's going to take a little bit of time for them to develop, you know, these NFL coverages. And so we need the main 2 guys who is Horn and Jackson to be healthy, man. Right?
Yeah,
and that's all I'm saying. I'm saying we looking forward to a full year this year. Again, we can talk about, you know, in the past, they ain't been healthy, but this year is going to prove it. Okay, can these guys stay healthy for a full slate of games?
Yeah, we got Mudbone in the building. Mudbone, man, what's your thoughts, bro?
What's going on, man? As far as your draft class, I got a little mixed reviews. Some picks I liked, some was a little questionable, but overall, I give y'all about like a B minus.
A B minus?
I'll take that. I'll take a B minus.
No,
but I mean, I think we better than that.
Honest, to be honest, some y'all don't even. Well, I ain't gonna say y'all, but some Panther fans have like conflicting reviews about like most of y'all picks. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
Because those agree. The ones that do Mudbone, they don't understand scheme and fit. That's the thing. When you don't understand that about football,
that's cap though, man.
No. Listen to me.
My team being excellent, so I'm chilling.
No. I'm saying that because, again, people was upset at the offensive guard pick from North Carolina.
Why?
State.
Why? I don't know why people is upset about that. I'm starting guard, not gonna be ready for the season.
But that's my point. That's my point. People was upset about that because they don't understand like depth and also, you know, what's going on. Okay, they was upset about my guy, the DJ guy from Oregon.
Yeah,
they was upset about that because
we traded up for him. That's why I'm upset about it. Like man, don't you know that people had him going as undrafted?
I mean, they're all projected.
Like for real. Like people had him going like as undrafted. Bleacher Report, scouting reports had came out immediately. Like every analyst, I was watching it on 4 or 5 platforms. Every analyst gave that pick for the Panthers a bad grade.
Well, he was projected in the 4th round.
Fourth round at best.
So I mean, but again, we can't sit up here and say, well, we kind of reached for, because again, obviously Fritterer, man, they thought this dude, you know, could potentially go early, and they really liked him. That's all I'm saying. I said, Derek, can you hear? Can't hear you.
Yeah. We good.
You back, but now what I'm saying, man, I think that you know, you got to understand what we're trying to do. People keep trying to look back at what Rule and that staff did. This is a different program, man. Everything that we're doing, I think the Panthers had a hell of a draft. I would grade the draft for A, you know, because we feel a lot of needs. We
All right,
feel
we
about
got
the league.
Omar in the building. Omar, what's your thoughts?
Yo, what's going on, fellas? How everybody doing?
That boy OT in the building, putting in OT.
Yeah, you know it. I agree. I'd give us a B draft. I feel like we addressed some needs. I think more people be mad at the names that we picked
Right.
more than like
So,
looking at positions. I
right.
think I would have preferred us go DN at 39 and then maybe trade back up for a receiver just because I liked a lot of the DNs that were still on the board then because we had to move up from 93 to 80 because between 13 spots and another team jumping in front of us, there might have not been an edge that we really liked. And so I think that's the real reason we had to move up. And so, like you were saying, Wade, with the projections and stuff, but how many mock drafts had that dude from Army, what's his name, Andre Carter? How many mocks had him getting drafted? So it's like,
Yeah.
them projections
Yeah.
they be a little fluky, but I give this a B. It's a solid B draft.
Well, Omar, I'm gonna let you go next, Mudbone. But Omar, do you not think that this guy would have been available at 98? Like we was picking
If
13 picks later. I think he would have been there at 98 though. You didn't have to move up 13 spots to get him.
like Fitz said, there was the run on edges. You know what I'm saying? I feel like them guys they talk with other GMs and know other teams' needs. Where it's like
Yeah, I got you.
I don't think they were confident enough that hey, he'll be there at 93.
Right.
And then that trade for Pittsburgh, it's not too bad of a trade. To give up 13 and then you only give up like it was either another fourth or fifth. That's
Right.
not a bad trade to do, but that's the word I would say that's the trade we reached on the most.
Yeah, that's all that I'm saying, man. Like I just feel I get the fit, I get the scheme, and I even get what you were saying about the actual draft real time. But what I'm saying, man, that like if you're the GM, you sit in that room, right? And obviously, like I'm just thinking I'm putting the GM hat on. I'm sitting in that room and I'm talking to these guys. I'm looking at my big board who are best players that we have available. Again, I get, they do have conversations with other GMs backscene, a lot of shit we don't get to hear and see. I get that part too. But if I'm sitting there making a GM and I'm thinking about like my current roster and how it's constructed, what we've got, what we don't have, to me, with the scheme change on defense and what you already have on the roster, you didn't need to reach there. Like, yes, you probably need to come away with a DN from this draft. You did, but it wasn't to a point where you had to trade up. For some reason, the Panthers keep trading in the third round, and I'm not saying that we not go hit on this guy, but it do feel like a reach considering where his evaluation is. Because Omar, as much as we see his skill set fit this scheme, he's going to need a lot of work. Like, you get what I'm saying? He's going to need a ton of it. Like, he really is, because his tape is raw. Like, when you look at his tape, bro, he extremely raw. He like having like he like a kid I got out there on my football team. Kid, the biggest kid out there on the field, but he raw. You gotta.
Yeah, but you can say the same thing about the Gould Burno on the current roster, man. Like we don't have a.
But Burno at least got 1 year of experience under his belt.
I mean, they do, but
what we don't. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I'm just gonna say they do have 1 year experience, but they didn't play much and they still developing. So meaning the Panthers put your GM hat on, like you just said. He looked at the roster, what we had, looked at the scheme, and said, "Well, hell, this guy, he's what we did. He's an edge. He's a speed rush off the edge. The current guys, I think they can push them because who we just named, Burnt, hell, he might not even make the right. This dude might come and replace him. They didn't feel good about what they had there, man. That's why we drafted him, because on top of, like my man just said, Omar, that there was a run on DN.
You could have got it. If that was the case, then you could have went free agency.
But
you could have got a more proven commodity in free agency. Go ahead, Omar.
Agents got to want to come to you, and I think the floor for DJ Johnson and how I'm thinking they looking at him is, he's the guy we can put in on obvious run downs. They think he can set the edge. We have nobody to set the edge. Yetur, Marquise, Brian Burns. We don't have a solidified stop the run edge rusher. So I think they're coming in like, worst case scenario, his floor is setting the edge, and we can work with him to develop pass rush moves and hand placement and stuff like that. I think that's how they looking at it from just hearing stuff about him and how they talked about him. I think, worst case scenario, 3rd and 2, DJ get out there and set the edge.
I got you. That's a great point, Omar.
Okay, so from what I'm getting from Wavez saying basically that he liked that they filled the needs, but they didn't get the maximum value out of
There
all
we
the
go.
picks.
There we go. There we
Yeah,
go.
and I can't be mad at that.
Because in Mudbone, the reason why I feel that way is because there were guys available with that pick that you would have got the value for what you did. You get what I'm saying? Even if it wasn't DN exactly there, I like Simpson from Clemson. He was on the board. I'm not sure how much he will fit in that scheme, but if you were going to go somebody or something like that, there were other guys to me that were rated higher that you could have, and to me, corner was the biggest need. And again, that's just how I feel. I feel like corner was the biggest need. Like it really was. And Kelly Ringo had first round grades on him.
But it's
like
the
you
reason why
for the Eagles to get him, like Omar, for the Eagles to get Kelly Ringo where they did in the 4th round, that shit has the steal of the draft. Especially with
if Keely Ringo would have went to any other team in the 4th round instead of the Eagles, would you have called that a steal?
Right,
I would have called that a steal. I would have called it a steal.
Everybody jocking the Eagles. Everything the Eagles do, bro, they can't do no wrong. So that's probably why.
I mean, but bruh, have they shown that they can do any wrong? Everything has been right. Everything has been positive.
They get great talent at great value. That's why everybody
there you go. There you go. Omar, clap it up for man. Put a fucking clap emoji in the chat for Omar, bro. He said that shit. He said it.
I wouldn't say that, man, because I feel like all they doing is drafting Georgia, and Jordan Davis didn't play like that last year.
He was hurt.
They don't need the guys that they draft to play right away. That's the point. They're getting guys on day 1, day 2 contracts that are going to be great guys 3 and 4 years from now. Having Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith behind Hassan Reddick, Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham, that is ugly. That's disgusting for the league. Like, that's smart for them to do that.
Right.
So the Kelly Ringo
point, though, too, Omar, because what people not seeing, they getting younger on defense, man.
Right.
That's the key. They getting younger. So
Fletcher Cox only got about 1 more year.
Yeah, it's not because Fletcher Cox, this is gonna be his last year there because they paying him too much money. Reddick, probably the same thing. You know, they getting younger, basically they replacement. So they're thinking for the future on top of, now they're gonna try to make a run again at the bowl. But again, they get all these guys
let them develop because Ringo don't have to start right away. He's sitting behind Darius Slay and Bradbury.
But I wouldn't say him getting Ringo in the 4th round. I mean, they got him in the 4th, but again, it didn't surprise me because they getting all the Georgia players. But I mean, as far as it being a steal, he may turn out to be really good. But there's something. If this dude had a 1st round grade and he dropped all the way to the 4th, there's something that
it got to be something off the field.
Yeah, the character issues.
Yep,
quote unquote character issues.
Yeah, that's all it could be because
something
because Omar, you remember when we did the draft? I think he was on there live on the last channel where we did the draft observations on Kelly Ringo. Ringo is a dog. He's a dog. So for him to fall to the 4th, it got to be something going on off the field because he a dog, bro. He was rated last year, but he was rated one of the top 10 corners in the nation. So I don't understand how the fuck he fell all the way to the 4th. But guess what? The Eagles are taking all of the character issue people, Jalen Carter. They taking Kelly Ringo, whoever else they got. And you know what they're saying? We go get these motherfuckers coached up and have them play behind some veteran players. And like you said, Omar, in 2 to 3 years, we go have arguably probably one of the best defense. That Georgia defense over the last 2 years have been the best in college football, and it was because of every single one of those players. So, and they got them all on one team. And don't forget, they got Jacoby Dean. They got Jacoby Dean too.
Jacoby Dean. Yeah,
you can't forget about Jacoby Dean. They got Jacoby Dean. He from Georgia defense.
You got to see how he develops.
Eagles got these motherfuckers gonna have a starting defense after Graham retire, after Fletcher Cox retire. Slay go start to decline. They go throw Kelly Ringo in there. Their defense is gonna be lit.
Listen, man. Listen, I get all that about the Eagles. Hey, forget the Eagles, man. Who cares what they're doing?
I'm just saying. I get what you're saying because we shouldn't have passed up on them.
Nah,
we shouldn't have passed up on Kelly Ringo.
But what you just say though, we don't want to bring in a guy if he got off the field issues. Like, you got to understand, man. We got a young team, so we don't need guys. Again, I don't know what this guy got, but I'm just saying, If it is
We
an
don't
off
know
the
what he
field
did. He
issue,
might have done nothing. We don't
I
know.
mean,
He could have scored. He could have scored bad on the S2 exam. Maybe he had one of the worst scores out of all corners.
that's what I'm saying. You don't know that either. Like, so the fact is this: it was the reason why this guy that had a first round grade. I mean, because again, the Eagles wasn't the only one that was looking at this guy. Come on, the whole league look at him. You say he a dog like that, but he went to them. But what I'm saying is this: we're gonna have one of the youngest teams, and we don't need guys to come in. Again, I don't know what the issue is, but if that's the issue, something off the field, who knows, or whatever it is, we don't want to bring him in. So I can't say, well, we should have took him there in the third round when he went, because that would have been a reach if he got drafted in the fourth round. So I know you sold on this guy from Georgia, Wavez. I know you like him.
Nobody would have
him.
said, if we would have took Kelly Ringo right there, nobody would have said that was a reach. Nobody.
Man, listen.
Nobody would have said that was a reach. This dude had first.
He had 3 rounds that went by. He didn't get drafted, bro. There's something wrong.
So,
I don't know.
Basically, you like what they draft. You just don't like how they went about drafting, or what about?
Yeah. So let me explain it, bro. This is what I don't like. I don't like where we took the guy. I feel like that guy would have been there for you at 98 realistically, where you could have still kept 2 4th-round picks. That guy would have been there available for you maybe early in the 4th round with your early 4th-round pick that you traded away. So that guy would have been available, bro. What I'm saying is, like, bro, literally, I know we say a lot about, the mocks and the analysts and all that shit, man, but I'm going to trust these guys more opinion on it because they in the trenches, they hearing what's going on. They're at these pro days. They're the ones there seeing, what these guys is, and they're at these college games. But what I'm saying is, you didn't have to trade up from from 98 to 80 to get him. That's somebody that really, bro. But like I said, bro, some people even had him going undrafted, like literally not even getting drafted at all. So when you go back and watch the tape, it's easy to see why. Like, yeah, he a freak athlete. He's a big guy. He got the size. He got all of that shit. But, bro, when you watch the tape, like, bro, he was getting destroyed on a lot of plays. Like, if he don't beat you with that first move off the edge, bro, he can get fucking jammed up in a heartbeat. He's raw. He's extremely raw. And I'm not saying that our staff can't get him, but right there was more proven talent available at positions of need. That's what I'm saying. Now, unless this guy, and again, what I'm hoping is that, Carolina saw a diamond in the rough. He come out to be the steal of the draft. That's what I'm hoping that it is. But even outside of Kelly Ringo, there were higher rated position like players of need that the Panthers could have done. And they still, if they really were sold on this guy, they probably still would have been able to get him early in the 4th round.
You can't bet on that. So what would have had you more mad? Say we didn't address the edge position at all.
I wouldn't have been upset. I wouldn't have been upset at that because you could have done it in free agency.
Man, but the free agency, like I said, people, you got to have the funds to give out, and people got to also want to come to
Panthers
you.
got second-rate, highest cap space in the NFL, bro. You have
we got Burns coming up an extension, though. You got to think about stuff like that.
But at this point in the offseason, you can get veterans, bro, for pennies. Because at this point, they're just trying to make a roster before the season start, training camp start.
Not a good vet. Good vets.
Bro,
like, don't be surprised if Clowney might wait till the season starts, like to get a job. Like big vets like that know what they can do.
You had Yannick Ngakoue still available out there.
I don't think Clowney will do that again. He did that last year.
Right, he did that last year.
Okay. Yeah. I know somebody else did it last year. I think Sue did it last year too. A guy like that. Like I said, I feel what you're saying though. Like I said, if your whole thing is you don't like I think this is somebody that they feel like they coaches can they can develop him, and like you said, it's a scheme fit. I think that's a scheme piece right there because Yetur coming up on year 3 or 4? Yetur ain't shown nothing to get re-signed. Marquise Haynes is just your solid defensive end. He's nothing great, but he's not trash. So it's like you rather bring in your guy with your new coaching staff. Hopefully they can develop him, and then your thing is by maybe year 2 or year 3, he's making those jumps that you need to see to kind of back up, reaching up to the 3rd. Like I said, I don't hate the pick. I don't love it either, but I can see why they did it from a front office standpoint.
I do see why they did it. So Omar, I agree with you there. I'm gonna let you go, big bro. I see why they did it, but what I'm saying is, you listen. Like I'm like you. I said it the night of the draft when we were doing our draft special. I said, look, I don't like it. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. I don't hate it because it fit in the scheme. He fits the scheme. I don't love it because of what we had to do to get him and who was available on the board is why I feel like it's a reach. That's the only thing I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, because most people had him projected, late 4th round. Some even had him going undrafted. Like I looked him up, like his everything immediately after it. And I want to read y'all. And again, I'm not trying to change any perspectives, but I want to read y'all his scouting report, like his whole scouting report. Now this is how he's gonna fit. And this is per Bleacher Report scouting department. DJ Johnson is a bit raw and unpolished as an edge rusher, but he brings legit. This is his upside. He brings legitimate speed of the Panthers O linebacker room, and he has explosive get off, and has gotten him by as he learns how to play the position. He's got a long way to go in learning how to set the edge as a run defender and what it means to fill out his pass rushing repertoire. But Ejiro Evero loves speed and he knows how to maximize it. That's the upside, right? That's per Deontay Lee. Joe Pearson's analysis. Johnson has only average instincts and needs to round out his game, but he is long and explosive with a motor that runs hot. He has a physical profile of a scheme of a versatile NFL player and offers upside despite his age. Now, that's one thing that we haven't talked about. He's 25 years old already. He's already 25 years old. His overall grade was a D+. That was his overall grade for him. His downside, some of the downside that he has no repertoire of moves to be able to beat starting NFL tackles right offhand. He will need a lot of development with building his skill set as a true defensive end. Also, his age concerned a lot of people. That's why they were saying about he failed, why he was where he was at as well, because his age scared off a lot. 25 years old, I don't care. For any player in the NFL, that's old. So when you're talking about defensive edges and whatever you got right now, that's all it was. To me, all this guy was a complimentary pick, and with your 3rd round pick, you are getting a starter player. There's somebody that can potentially be a starter day one. 3rd round start as well. They start as well. So 3rd round pick, I feel like the Panthers definitely reached here. That's just my thoughts.
I'm gonna say this.
Yeah, when I hit that age, I can say they reached too, man. Because
I'm not gonna say that, man.
Because 25.
Here's the example why.
You don't have enough time. You don't have a lot of time to develop.
No, you do with him, and here's the thing, because y'all want to talk about reaching. So I'm gonna give you the real deal on your boy Ringo, since who you love. You said it wasn't why he drafted. So here's per Tom Mache. So early in the process, due to Ringo making that play in the national championship, people thought he was a 1st round pick, right? So this was Tom Mache on April 21st. Direct quote from him. Ringo is an intriguing one. He's physical at times. He got ideal size. He keeps blockers off his body. I think he's inconsistent tough in terms of he has discipline doing certain things versus the run. He got all the tools that you would like, but also on tape, too many big plays allowed. The instincts haven't developed enough. Is he putting in time? Is he studying what he needs? Does he love the game? That's what the scouts are asking. So as of April 21st, a lot of scouts say he wasn't going to be a 1st round pick because of those things, man. That's why he dropped to 4th round, because he given up. They said 13 plays of 15 more yards. That's just last season on Ringo. So the dude is not that good. He was pushed into the spotlight from what he did, that play he made in the national championship. But he wasn't a 1st round grade. He wasn't a 1st round grade. So
you just said a mock draft from April.
No. It wasn't a mock draft. No, there was Todd Mache saying that
scouting report.
It was a report, scouting report. A lot of teams did not think he was a 1st round pick. He only got put into the 1st round conversation because of the play he made in the national championship game. That's the only reason he got put into that spotlight. But prior to that, no one was looking at Ringo wasn't graded 1st round because he gave up several big plays this past season. 13 plays of 15 or more yards that he gave up. That's Ringo. So him dropping to the 4th round, that's where he deserved to be at. 4th round pick. He wasn't
that's
that
where he
good.
deserved to be at, man. You crazy.
No,
you crazy. Go look at
I'm saying no.
all the
I'm talking about
pre-draft mocks. Go look at all the pre-draft mocks. You talking about why he failed. Okay, so now this stuff comes out. You said a report from April 21st.
Listen to it, man. The fact is, he was not in the 1st round conversation until the Georgia National Championship game. That's when people did start knowing about Ringo. This is what this is people around the NFL that he talked to. The scouts who do the recruiting. I'm not talking about no mock draft.
There's always one game that put people in the spotlight in college. We can say it about every player. That doesn't mean that overall your butt. What is this overall? Go to his stats last season, man. Go to his stats this past season.
I just read you one.
Okay, you say he gave up. Okay, he's a more physical receiver. He's not an elite speed corner. He's a physical receiver. I told you, I compare him to like a Camardi type wide receiver. He's not
listen. If you get burned,
blazing speed.
If you get burned 13 times for 15 or more yards, you're not a good corner. You're not.
I can't say that, man. I can't say that.
Can I say this last point real quick about the pick? But I see what your big bro just trying to say is that previous to that Georgia championship game, Ringo might have been a borderline day 2 player.
Right.
And that kind of got him up to after that game, it got him up to round 1, but then throughout the pre-draft process is what made him fall.
There you go.
That's all your big bro trying to say. But I see your point 2 ways that Ringo been a dog. He should have went number 1, and he gonna make some teams look stupid. But what I wanted to say back on the DJ Johnson pick, while y'all was talking about that, I really ain't watched that day 2 of the draft like that, so I didn't see this. What if I tell you had Zach Harrison, an edge rusher, go off at 75 from Ohio State, then you had Byron Young from Tennessee go off at 77. So now knowing that, I can see why they panicked. And after DJ Johnson, there was no more edges in that whole round. So obviously there was just a major drop off in talent. That's why they felt they had to move up. I just want to say that last point just because I did some research into that.
What I want to say too is, man, Wavez gives C.J. Henderson flack for giving up big plays. 13 plays of 15 yards or more. That's terrible.
That's terrible, right? And that's true stats. That's true stats. So that's what I'm saying.
Okay, so again, you got that stat. That's a good stat, but go and watch the tape, bro. The tape don't lie.
No, I'm not saying that he's not could be a good player. But what I'm saying is this: you're saying that we should have picked him there versus DJ is what you're saying.
Yeah, I've been happy with that. What was somebody pull up right now? What was DJ Johnson projected draft status prior to where he got picked?
It was hold on. It was 4th round, but let me see. I'll tell you. Give me a second. Let me look it up. DJ Johnson draft projection. Okay. Draft projection. Okay, here we go. NFL draft. All right. Draft. Hey, DJ Johnson. Okay, later. Oregon. Okay, 6'4". Hold on. Player
trash.
Analysis. Okay. Significant technique work that needs to take place. The NFL scout about should only help his draft stock. Okay, they talk about his weaknesses. Grade. So he had. All right. 8.0 grade. Perfect prospect. Let's see. Pro Bowl talent, perennial All-Pro, boom or bust potential. So that's on NFL.com. Oh, it said draft projection. Here we go. Rounds 3 and 4. It's his draft projection. According to ESPN, no, not ESPN, NFL.com. This is NFL.com. They said that so his strengths use hands like sledgehammers, booming power, lift blocker pass. Tight ends have little chance of controlling him. Bench pressing to early separation. Activates a sudden closing burst, creates downhill momentum. His weaknesses, tight hips and not a natural bender at the point. Narrow, lacks run game recognition and shed timing.
Somebody said that he can set the edge. He can't set no damn edge.
Well, it says lacks run game recognition. and shed timing. So meaning he probably have trouble reading the run.
That's terrible.
It says tackle technique will need work. Strokes to break down and find pattern. Again, this is not we're not projecting him to be a day one starter, man. Must build his rush approach from the ground up, one note power rush. But he got drafted. His projection was 3 and 4. And his NFL comparison is James Smith Williams, whoever that is.
Who the hell is that?
I don't know, but that's
Who
his
the hell is James Smith Williams?
But it's
CLT. Who is that, man?
Never heard of him.
And that's you. They compared it to somebody that we never even heard of.
But he's in the third. He's not a first. Again, you're looking at it wrong. He's not a first round talent. No one ever said that. He got drafted where his projections was.
Pop and pull up, pop and pull up, pop.
I think our only problem is that we traded up to get him, man.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, CLT. It's the fact that we traded up to get. I get that.
Give up like we didn't give up nothing huge to get it.
We gave up one of our 4th rounds. We had 2 4th round picks.
But like my boy said, it was a run no DNs. So meaning the best available D they was being taken. So meaning Fritterer, they thought this guy
they panicked and overreached. That's what they did.
You can't say that too, because like you said, last year we traded a 3rd or a 4th round pick up to get Corral. What the fuck he done did? Injured.
That's what I'm saying. You traded up. You panicked and overreached.
I can't say anything about what we did under rule, man, because everything under rule was terrible.
Everybody keeps saying that. Why do people keep saying that everything was under rule?
Yeah, it was.
Everything was under rule. We know that rule was making some decisions, but it's still the Panthers organization. Tepper still was there. Fitterer was there.
He had full control of a player personnel. What that means, he makes all decisions when it comes to the roster.
Of course, the organization gonna say that once we lose and they kick his ass out.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like the organization as a whole was bad. Listen, what I'm saying. I can't sit up here and just blame like everything that happened in that Matt Rule area all on the coach. It was the organization that David Tepper was making bad decisions by even signing him to a 7-year deal was a bad decision. So I can't sit up here and just say, oh, there was just rule error. It was just a rule error. Nigga, the Panthers were bad top to bottom.
That's what it was, though. Just like when Ron Rivera was here, it was the Ron Rivera era. I mean,
we got Poppin in the building. Poppin, what's good, man? What's your takeaways from this draft, man? What grade did you give him?
What up? I give it a B. I give it a B because every single one of these players are potential players that can get on the field and can contribute pretty early.
Agreed.
And for those who, I just want to give y'all a different perspective on how to look at this draft. This was a build your team, your 2nd and 3rd string draft.
Thank you.
This was not nobody. It was a few players that might be superstars, but this was to build your 2nd and 3rd string type of draft. There's not that many people in this draft. They're like, oh damn, they're gonna be a beast. There's a lot of players in here. This is the whole COVID baby draft. I mean, that's just what it is. These guys had to go back to school a whole nother year because of what happened with COVID, and that's just the truth. You know what I mean? Even if you look at the wide receivers that came out the year before that, they were running 4.2, 4.3s. All different sizes. In this draft, you got a lot of more smaller slot receiver type of receivers. So I think we did our due diligence. They said it immediately saying, hey, we're not going to be able to fill all our needs in one draft. And I also am happy about what they did in undrafted free agency. There's some guys that if y'all haven't checked them out, go check them out, man. They really went and got some dogs, bro.
I said that earlier, Poppin. I told about your boy Ray John Wright.
That dude, he's a fool, bro.
He's a fool. I told him that.
He is a fool. He is just naturally just.
Yep.
He seems like he's the type of cornerback that played wide receiver, so he knows what the wide receiver is going to do.
Yep.
So and he plays with a lot of energy. We still went and got more offensive line help. We got another D tackle.
We needed it. We had to go O-line though, man, because with them saying about Corbett, man, they said Corbett gonna miss the start of the season.
Well, I think everybody knew that. I think everybody knew that Corbett was going to be a slow process.
Don't rush him back, man.
Don't rush him. no
But
rushing back, and
it
then
is a big blow to that line, though.
it is. But that's why you have to. They drafted the way they drafted.
Yeah.
Um,
Mic up, CLT.
they definitely targeted certain players, and your man's got a point.
CLT, mute up. Never mind. I got him.
There were no more edges left, bro.
I
And
know
that was one guy that was on their board, and we've always said that. Hey, East
wherever you
Coast
have convictions on. Yeah.
East Coast got their player. It may not have been the number one player, but East Coast got their player. Special teams, they got Jamie Robinson.
That was a good one.
That coach got him.
He gonna get some look at nickel too.
Yeah, and this is another thing for people who are mad about the Jamie Robinson. I don't know why you mad.
Who mad at that?
Some people are, man, because they want a corner.
Yeah,
they want a corner. But the problem is
he's a safety corner, bro. He played the nickel. They was even talking to him about that in his interview, bro. He played the nickel like majority of his last year at Florida State, so he know how to play corner.
Right, and that's what people are failing to realize.
Like, right, he was hybrid. He did both, safety and corner.
This Evero defense is not going to be nothing you've really seen before because it's a new situation. This Evero system runs a lot of safeties. Right. So that means you're going to have safeties in corner roles. So if people just take their mind off, oh, he's a safety. Okay, yeah, but can he play corner as well? Right. So people just got, kind of get stuck. You know how like things get stuck in your head and kind of like, but you're trying to convince people to think outside the box. Like, yeah, we got a lot of safeties, but that don't mean like Jeremy Chin. Okay, he's a safety, but
he playing up in the
linebacker. He a hybrid player. Like,
did he not play linebacker?
Right.
So like, don't get stuck on what the title is, because if you're a football player and if you're a good football player who's able to develop, you can play multiple roles like a Jeremy Chin. So I'm not doubting this.
And Poppin', I'm not disagreeing with what you were saying, right? I haven't given out my grades yet. I'm gonna give my grades here in just a sec, but what I'm saying is you are absolutely correct. You make all your points, man, are valid, right? Like you can, but what I'm saying is that obviously he had to been high on the Panthers board, right? For them to trade up and want to get there. He had to been a guy, and I get to run on the edges too, which I understand that, but like you said, we're not gonna be able to fill all of these positions this year, right? Like to me, all I'm saying with what you already had on the roster, and now that you're switching to a 3-4 defense, like you can get fast linebackers. You still got some guys on the roster that we still ain't even really see what they can do. Like Brandon Smith and Barno, we haven't really seen what those guys can do because they've had limited opportunities, limited to special teams and backup roles or spat. All I'm saying is that like at 3 and what was there left on the board, because there was some talent on the board. And if you were going to trade up, like I feel like if you were going to trade up, you should have did what like Omar and them was saying. You should have traded up to go get somebody like Zach Harrison or somebody that was, that was there at, at certain positions, man. Like maybe even a little bit traded up a little bit higher, man, to try to grab somebody else that you might have had on your board. But to me, I feel like you settled with this because this was all that was left. Like you traded up because this was all that was left. I'm not saying that Poppin' that he don't have the potential to be something great. Hell, that's what I'm hoping for. I hope that he turns out to be what everything that we hope he be.
I'm gonna say this, man. I don't care what nobody said. This is one of the best drafts the Panthers has had in recent history, man. Overall, like. Those that don't understand, the game on the higher level, like this is one of the best drafts that we've had in recent history. I'm telling you, I'm talking about from.
It was a solid draft. It was solid
from pick 1 all the way, even to the undrafted free agents that we brought in, man. This is again, I think Fritterer done a great job with this draft, man. And since he's been our GM, this is the best draft that he's managed and ran,
this
man.
Is the best offseason he's had.
Well, yeah, that too.
Yeah.
So
overall, everything.
I know that some people they not like saying. I get what you said, and that's why it's fair to have your opinion. But man, overall, I'm talking about overall, not a specific pick from round 1 to round 7, and all the picks that we had in between in the draft. This is the best draft that we've had in recent history, man. I think, like my boy just said, a lot of these guys, on top of, to even piggyback what you said, ways that, we building, we got guys on the roster, but man, we need depth, and also we need to push the guys that's currently on the roster, right? So meaning,
I agree.
Hey, the dog is made the best dog win. It's gonna be when you throw the meat in the pit. So meaning, man, training camp is gonna be intense. It's gonna be a lot of battles. That's gonna be ways, for ones and twos. Who gonna be the ones and twos? And on top of that, man, you gotta look at, like my man just made another point that I stated earlier, is that we got a new regime. So people gotta look at it, that meaning what we did in the past, you can't compare that to what we're doing now, because we got a different scheme. New D coordinator, new O coordinator. So meaning, man, we're building, like my man said, we went after the guys that the coaches wanted, who thought that, they can help us not only with depth, but also, they can fit our scheme, man. Because ultimately, man, what we're trying to do as a team is build this thing the right way and get to the point where we get to the Super Bowl and ultimately win it, man. And I think this year, did we answer everything that we possibly could in draft? No, because we didn't have enough picks. But with what we had, with what we worked with, I think we did a great job. It's just one step in the process, man. And going forward, man, again, man, hey, they killed the offseason, man. The Panthers, Federer has killed this offseason, including the draft. So
no, I agree with what you're saying, man. Like I'm not saying all of that, man. Again, I'm about to go ahead and give out my grades on this. I'm gonna start from first all the way up to where we at, man. Because we go ahead and get these out, man. We got about another good 10, 12 minutes left. So the Bryce Young pick, guys, I'm giving that A++. Bryce Young wasn't just the best quarterback in this draft. He was the best player in this draft. And at number one, that's exactly what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to get the best player in a class. And Bryce Young checks all of those boxes, man. This guy's going to be able to come to Carolina. Like, I can see it now. This kid is going to be special, guys. I last night, went back and watched the game against Georgia last night. I watched the whole entire game, like on YouTube. And the plays that this guy made and can make with the talent that he's going to have around him, the Panthers may have one of the best offenses, not just in the NFC South, but in the NFL, period. So I'm giving the Bryce Young pick A++, man. That was the best player in the draft, the best player at the quarterback position. The Carolina Panthers, the reports came out, Bryce Young was always their guy. I seen one report that said that they wasn't even considering C.J. Stroud. Bryce, when they traded up, they said as soon as they traded up to number one, and Scott Fitter and them said, they said that the only way they were trading up to number one was to get Bryce Young. That's the only person they was considering at that point. So I'm giving that a A++. The Mingo pick, I'm giving that pick an A. That's 100% an A, man, because I've said, me and CLT have said it, even when we've done mock drafts, popping even on former platforms. I said that the Panthers were always going to go wide receiver at number 39. Now, Mingo was not the person I thought that they would take there, but I knew that wide receiver was the next most important thing that you got. And a lot of people said, well, you already added Thielen, you already added Shark, you already have Terrence Marshall Jr., Laviska, Smith, and all of the, Preston Smith and all of that, and Shy Smith and Hayden Hurst. But the reality was that you did not have a true number one wide receiver on this roster.
Can I push on something that you just said right there real quick?
Yeah, hold on. I'm gonna let you push back, but let me finish giving out these grades though, right quick.
All right.
And I'm gonna let you push back. Then I'm 10 more minutes. You needed to go get that. You needed to go get a wide receiver, and to me, the upside of Mingo, the only reason why he didn't go higher, wasn't higher on his picks, was because he had a broken foot the year before. So he had a broken foot in 2021. That was the only reason why he fell to the second round, was because of that broken foot. If it wasn't, he would have been considered one of the top 5 wide receivers, 3 or 4 wide receivers in the entire draft. All right. So that's an A. Okay. The DJ Johnson pick for me, I'm giving it a F. Like I'm giving it an F, bro. I'm giving it an F. Like the more and more that I look back at this, and the more and more we sit here and talk about it and understand, like, you know, what it is, I'm giving it an F, man, because it doesn't. That to me, it makes sense. So I understand why they did it. I just don't think that they had to do what they did to do it. I think that guy would have failed to early first, early fourth, or maybe you've had to trade up 2 to 3 spots. But to jump 13, which 13 is a lot. To jump 13 spots to get up there to get him, and like you said, you can say he had a 3rd or 4th round projected on him. I'm gonna lean more towards the 4th. Yes, edge rushers were going off the board, but to me, edge is not a dire need based off of our roster and the scheme that we fit. If we were still in a 4-3, then maybe. But switching to a 3-4, you really just need outside linebacker play. You could have paid a veteran in the offseason.
No.
Hold on, let me finish. Let me finish, man. Let me finish. And I'm gonna let you go. I got to get my grades out, man. Come on, let me get my grades out.
Go ahead, man. Because I'm giving
it an F. Yes, it's a scheme fit, but it was a reach. I don't care what every analyst has said that was a reach for us. That was a reach. Nobody said that pick was going to be an underrated pick. Nobody has said that pick was going to be a sneaky pick or what. Every analyst, every platform gave that pick a bad grade for Carolina. It was a reach. It was definitely a reach. So I'm giving that an F. Savala from North Carolina State, I'm giving that grade an A simply because Corbett being out, you need to put depth at the guard position to see who can battle it out to get that guard spot. I'm giving that an A. Jamie Robinson, the Robinson pick, I'm giving the Robinson pick a B because he can play. He's going to contribute a ton on special teams. He's a hybrid player. He can play safety. He can play nickel. I think he's going to end up being our nickel corner. I really think that's where we're going to utilize him more, so being in the slot, guarding the slot. And he's a physical hitter, man. So he will come up and pop you and put you on your ass. He will hit running backs. He will hit all of that. So I'm gonna give that grade, man, a B plus, because for that value that late, we'll take that. And then I think that was all of our picks, right? I'm not forgetting nobody. Who am I forgetting?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So that was my grades. But I'm gonna leave it there, fellas. Y'all go ahead, man. Your boy got to jump off here soon for a work thing, but y'all go ahead and give y'all final statements in.
What you said about the 3-4, man.
Go ahead.
You said the end wasn't that important in the 3-4. That's a lie.
I didn't say it wasn't that important. I said with the guys that we have on our team, it wasn't that important.
Because you said in the 4-3, you it's more important. But I'm gonna tell you why. Here's why it's 3-4. The end is crucial. You in the 3-4, you're gonna have your 2 ends and your nose tackle. So meaning the ends, man, gotta be able to not only set the edge and rush the passer, but they got to be able to set the edge and also stop the run. So meaning the end is critical in the 3-4. More so, even more so than the 4-3. So meaning, and again, and I respect your draft grade, giving the F, but the guy DJ, he's gonna be that hybrid rusher, DN / outside linebacker, because usually in the 3-4, you will have your outside linebackers rushing as well as the 4th guy, and they're gonna fill in. But in order to play that position, man, you gotta be stout. Like you gotta be stout in that defense, man. In the 3-4, your ends gotta be stout. Meaning Brian Burns, like he's a true pass rusher, but he's not that stout against the run, right?
But DJ Johnson isn't either.
No, meaning
you heard the scouting reports. That's where he struggles in the most.
No, they said recognition, meaning he can't read. I'm talking about stout, meaning your body, meaning
if you can't analyze the run, you can't play the run.
That's what I'm saying. That makes no sense.
No. Meaning you can be taught you're reading the run, like you can be taught that how to read. To know when they're gonna hand the ball. You can look at how the offensive tackle moving, how the guard moving. You can teach that stuff. His IQ ain't there yet, but that's gonna be developed. And again, he's not gonna start day one anyway. But
All right, so
what
give your final words, man. I got 3 minutes. I need you to get your final words in. I ain't trying to rush you. I gotta hop off.
nah, I got you. But nah, that's all I'm gonna say, man. Look, just back to what I'm saying. The Panthers Nation did a great job on the draft. And man, just believe in what we got. Just believe in what Frederick, man, and we're gonna see it paying out, man. That's all I'm gonna say.
Gotcha. Go ahead, CLT.
I would just give the overall draft grade a B. I like the first two picks. Everything else. I also like like you said, the guard, just because of the fact what we're gonna do with Quebec being out. With that 3-4, like you said, like he said before, it is crucial to set that edge with run, but they say he's not good at playing a run, and he must be able to put a run because those in the 3-4, you got the guards that are able to come up and make plays on our linebacker. So that defensive end has to be able to do his job. So
Agreed.
with that being said, man, it's to be determined. I'll say a B. Just off the facts of our first two picks, I like the first two picks. Everything else got to be determined.
Gotcha, CLT. I respect that. Popping last words, man.
What I was saying, I was gonna push back on you on was on the Mingo grade. I think that's an A+ because you got Terrence Marshall Jr. I don't know if he's gonna come and prove something, or
I think he got something to prove.
Or is Mingo gonna be which I call Terrence Marshall Jr. Either he gonna show up or he's gonna be take my job. And Mingo came in here, he's gonna do his thing. And we got DJ Chark who's only signed for 1 year, so they already got a replacement for that. That's why I say it's an A+ pick.
Gotcha. Hey, well, look, fellas, I appreciate everybody, man, pulling up to the channel today. Your boy got to hop off. He got to get into some work stuff, but we will be live again, man. Y'all be looking out for the thumbnail. Appreciate everybody pulling up to the channel. Life is Just a Wave podcast, Midday Madness, man. We'll catch y'all on the next time. My overall grade for the Carolina Panthers, I'm going to give them a B+. A B+ overall with this draft, a B+. That's where we at with it, man. So y'all let me know how y'all think about it in the community on this post, and I'll talk to everybody later, man. Everybody be blessed, bro. Appreciate y'all for pulling up, popping big bro, CLT.
For sure.